Hey everybody, Kane here and welcome to another video of Art of Conquest. So in this one we will continue talking about Ethercore and provide you with some tips to improve your gameplay. But first things first, I do have to let you know I was pretty skeptical of this feature being another premium paywall that people are going to have to pay like 500 bucks, which was I think the cost in Wonderland, or 600 to get a 5-star, let alone you kind of requiring like 15 of them. I know the number is like over 10 to make it a level 10, in which the cost becomes something like, say, Diablo Immortal. But I was actually, unfortunately, mistaken. In one of my videos, or comments in one of my videos, a person named Nirav said that there is a 5% chance to craft it. Now, the thing is, I thought this question mark was the same as this one, and I didn't really care to check. So in here, it says 5% chance. Now, even knowing that, I was pretty skeptical, because of course I didn't craft the 5-star. But I asked quite a few people, and I know even some free-to-play or some very, very small spenders who got 1 5-star, who got 2 5-stars, and I know some spenders who got 3, 4, or 5 of them. That kind of says that with a limited amount of materials of these, say, other shards, people are still able to craft a 5-star. So the percentage is not below 1%. It is likely what it says in the question mark, which means to max this one thing would not cost like 7k grand straight up, I think. So it's quite a bit easier, but still involves a portion of the RNG, which is kind of good. So yeah, I was kind of a little bit over the edge with that. But yeah, it's fortunate that this wasn't, such a huge paywall. However, the only thing I would want is this feature actually granting some decent core power, because the amount of stats it provides, it's still crazy. So the other thing is looking into the resonance. So for example, a 3-star level 1 grants you 12 resonance. A 4-star grants you 24. A 5-star grants you 60. Meaning that if you acquire any 5-stars, you want to equip all of them, regardless if even these abilities are pretty strong. Simply because of the value of the resonance. So, if you would equip all, say, 5-star stones, yeah, you're gonna lose the stones that kind of look good on mages or mages to do more damage. You're going to improve this particular value, which is 73% attack and HP for all units. That includes heroes, army, dragons, and dragons are also getting some pretty decent values from this feature as well. And it's pretty much just half of what you have in terms of this value. So if it's 24, you're getting 12%. If it's 60, you're getting 30%. So we have to take a look in the attack value of the Avril. So my Avril is 212 million attack. We go on to the other core and we remove 24 resonance, which is 12%. Our Avril is going to lose about 7 million attack, which is a pretty decent value in the grand scheme of things. And 7 million, I mean, for 24 resonance is actually pretty good, or rather a pretty huge boost. But if we would, say, equip a 60 resonance, which is 30%, I mean, that is pretty much like, what, 14, 17 and a half, like 18 million attack power, which is, again, pretty huge boost. Now you have to take into consideration that this buff and the resonance affects your entire field, which means if you equip all of the 5-stars that you may have, you're increasing attack and HP on all of your heroes. So what happens is your prisms that you might equip and might have upgraded all of the prisms further buff and make your heroes do more damage and survive. You have dragons providing buff that do the same. You have hero mastery. Everything scales a lot better. As well as, of course, adding stats to your dragon in terms of, say, HP and attack will further make it be able to survive better and longer. That is why essentially people should focus the resonance from the very beginning. Because again, these are huge stats, like to the point that I could probably more than double or triple, no, probably not triple, but more than double, maybe 2.5 times if I would just equip all 5 stars level 1. So that is the difference of having something like this and having like 360 if I would do that. Keep in mind that is a lot better. Now, some of these you can use on pretty much, you know, most of your field. Like you have enough heroes, you have like 30 heroes or something. Any of them can just be useful, as even the level 1s have pretty good buffs. But if you're not lucky, I mean, the only other option is crafting and upgrading 4 stars. And 4 stars, I mean, my field is built around mages and mages to do more damage. And I already got 3 of the stones that kind of improve the mage's DPS. One of them is Arcane Scrutiny. When dealing damage, a % chance to reduce enemies' magic resistance for 10 seconds. Now, this one you can actually do and use and proc in a variety of ways. So for example, I have Valerie. So Valerie has splash damage, she has burning damage, and essentially, you know, a lot of procs because of the splits as well. So she can proc it pretty reliably on the front line. However, for us, and using Avril in this case, it's not going to be procced on the backline. So even equipping Avril on here could make Avril have a chance to do more damage to, say, the backline heroes if it actually just procs this on them. However, there is another thing, is that the mage or Avril could use another one for more DPS just generally. So what I kind of thought about is using Theadrin's Hour of Retribution on it. Now, we usually have 2 Theadrins, and if you have 2 Theadrins, from what I've seen in multiple events, multiple battles, and stuff like that, is that this particular damage will proc twice, right? So this Hour of Retribution will proc twice if you have 2 Theadrins. Now, I cannot say whether or not this passive is just a singular thing or not. I'm pretty certain that the buffs and debuffs don't mix because they are unique. So it's still gonna be just one debuff, right? But the damage is kind of double, or because there's 2 procs of the Hour of Retribution every second or whatever amount of, you know, intervals that this ability has. Which, again, if we go on to here, the Hour of Retribution will hit entire field, meaning the front line as well, meaning the back line, all the heroes, and you're going to be able to proc it early on with a more reasonable % than 15, because you're gonna have literally 2 Hour of Retributions trying to proc it. Now this says when dealing damage, this does not say any basic attacks or whatsoever, so I kind of thought to use something like this on Theadrin, which is, again, kind of beneficial for me. However, this does have a 20-second cooldown, so this is not going to be like very reliable, because if you are gonna be using that, right, it's a risk reward kind of, like, sort of thing. Like you might bypass your stall site faster, or rather the enemy stall site faster, or their burst site faster, but then you're not gonna proc this buff on the others for another 20 seconds or stuff like that. Like, you know, it's a kind of a double-edged sword. You might proc it too early on other units, and you might not proc it again whenever you might require it to. It's just for the very beginning is what I have made. Then we have Enchanted Gem. When basic attacks deal magic damage, there is a % chance to deal more. Now, there are actually a few heroes that you can put on here. And that is Tisiphone, Ophidia. Both of them do a lot of basic attacks. There is Arian, there is Valerie. However, this doesn't say anything about like a 3-part attack or 3 attacks at the same time what Arian has. Usually skills do tend to include those into that, but it might still be useful on Arian. And then, of course, that majority of the DPS abilities, the damage is reduced by a huge % against ranged units, dragons, and buildings. The thing about that is they really kind of want the frontline to die. They don't really want any draws whatsoever. So pretty much majority of these gems are kind of geared towards just blowing up the frontline army as quick as possible. Because, of course, most people really only use frontline. They barely even use any backline whatsoever except for heroes. So that is the sort of thing. And for Avril, I do believe I got this with RNG, if I'm not mistaken, by a random craft. Enemies that die within 5 seconds of taking damage from the hero, with this, the hero bonus... Wait, what? Enemies that die within 5 seconds of taking damage from the hero with this hero bonus... Oh, yeah, will explode, dealing area damage, 1.5 tiles equal to 29% of the hero's attack. And again, kind of less for, say, ranged army and stuff like that. Well, it depends. Usually if we get a stall site, I mean, there is like, what, 60, 90 army units that we have to clear. So this is one of the better ones for, say, stall site builds, or builds that you want to clear stall sites quicker. At the very least, in my own case. I mean, essentially, this might work on, say, I don't know, even Lee, if you would want to equip this on Lee, because enemies that die of taking damage, this does not say magic damage, this does not say physical damage, this just says damage, meaning even Lee could be better with it as well. So I still have not gone to test this yet. I don't have a reasonable or decent account that can survive a decent proc of damage. So for Lee, I kind of put a 3-star one, which basic attacks that hit critically. I mean, he has a ton of might, he has a ton of buffs, bonuses, etc. and attack speed. Eventually they will hit, and they just do more damage to frontline and stuff like that. So this is the one for Lee, but essentially I did not really have pretty much anything else to choose from. This was pretty much as good as I could actually make with what I had received. So the only other one which I kind of wish I didn't mess up and use for experience is the Dry Spring. Now, I think I had 1 or 2 more, so if I did not mess them up, I could likely make this level 4 or level 5 even. Now, this is probably one of the stronger 3 stars in my own opinion. It says, for every 10% HP lost, reduces all damage taken by a % chance. Stacks up to 5 times. So, level 3... you pretty much can stack up to 10% all damage taken. So that is 10% physical, 10% magical. At the max level, let's quickly check. At the max level, it's 6%, which total is 30% physical and magical, and like 25% evade. But that kind of means that you can easily upgrade this like to level 10 and just have it there until you get something better. and your Balrog, your Bane, or any other gladiator that you would put it on would actually be able to perform better. However, there are some 4 stars, I do believe, like this one is pretty decent after you level it a little bit. I think this one also, if your gladiators are dying very early on. So in quite a lot of the cases, even in the earlier, say, metas in servers or new servers, this one might actually be more useful than, say, something like this. Because usually gladiators get exploded to invincibility in just a couple of abilities because they don't have resistances. So the stacking one doesn't bode well for new servers, whereas just straight up high percent resistance is better for new servers because the hero still has a chance to out heal and still survive. But this is a 30-second thing versus proccing it multiple times and, of course, granting a ton of resistances in terms of as it goes. But you know, if he's hit a lot, then he's gonna overstack it. If he's not hit and he like loses everything, and you know DPS is just refocus him, he can just still be blown up. So there are nuances where some of these 4 stars are better than others depending on particular gameplays. But since I'm again kind of focusing on mages, and of course, I didn't really get any particular thing for melee. Like, for example, if I got this, I would have put it on Lee. I do believe even this one, I could have likely put it on Lee as well. But, you know, I kind of wasn't lucky. I wasn't lucky to get any other 4 stars yet. So in the future, we might be able to try some other ones out. Now, the thing about mages further on. So, for example, this one, it's still a chance for Avril to do more damage, right? If you would put Avril on this one. This one is still a chance for Avril to do more damage. I mean, essentially, you know that some stuff is going to die. Usually. Sometimes not much. So, this is also still a chance to make Avril do more damage. However, there is another 3-star which can just directly improve her damage, which is a magic stone. Increases magic by 29. Magic directly affects the damage of the hero by some sort of percent. I don't know how much. I don't know what's the percentage. I know that these values, they kind of still improve the hero and how it performs with his abilities, with the buffs that he may have and stuff like that. But this further increases the attack by 41%. Now, this is just going off the bat, right? Like, if these values, the hero bonuses, the resonances, bring in the same values as this one, or this one brings in the same or more, this one is actually pretty decent on Avril to just straight up do more damage all the time, right? All the time, regardless of whether she kills something or not. But I'm still, or rather would still have to actually level this to be certain. I didn't really get any of these as I remember. I think I got only one. Yeah, I got only one so far, and it doesn't even have any attack values at the moment. So you actually need to upgrade it a little bit. So these are the things that I kind of noticed. Aside from that, I mean, the others are, I mean, the same can be used for Lee if you want to be, or if you want to be like really strict on just blasting the attack value and stuff like that. But that is pretty much what I have gathered. The other ones, I don't really know if the other ones are actually that good, right? Because I think like this one is pretty good. This one, if you might want to test it out on Lee, and then of course this one. Like, this one is probably one of the best one of the 3 stars. If this doesn't prevail, this one just takes the cake. And if you are not getting any of these ones or multiple copies, if you're not getting, say, Impact Shield or stuff like that, multiple copies, just having this at level 10 pretty easily will be one of the better things for you to actually do. So the thing about that now in terms of upgrading is that your experience is not actually wasted. So I have this stone at level 3. So if we remove it and we go on to this, say 4-star, and we select this, you can see that I have 5 experience. So to upgrade a 1-star, we require, one moment, I still have some items. So if we upgrade this, we require just 1 experience to level 2. So then at level 2, this stone will bring in 2 experience for whatever. I don't even know how I can call him. Upgrade energy. Okay, so at level 2, this will bring 2 upgrade energies. But at level 3, because I still have this one, it's gonna take 3 energy and 1 of the exact same copies. So 2 plus 3 will equal 5, right? And this one is bringing in 5 energies. Meaning anything you upgrade, even on the level 3s, is not wasted at all. So if you're eventually gonna get more 4-stars, or you're gonna like upgrade 4 stars higher, you can just merge that 3-star into a 4-star, or merge that 3-star into a 5-star for upgrading. So you have to take into consideration that at the very least, this one you might want to upgrade. And for testing, I will probably just upgrade this one to see whether or not this value will eventually be pretty friggin' decent. And then this might be one of the better ones for Avril in terms of damage until we're able to get any of the DPS ones. I think the Mage's Heart. I mean, at some points I kind of thought even the Rufio's Wrath was good. It really depends what means like the fighting spirit while in battle. Like while in battle, does that mean if he's being hit? Or does it mean if the hero is also doing damage? Because that's like a whole different thing. Because you're gonna be able to dish out a ton of damage with this particular one. But then again, you're going to be receiving more damage on your Avril. So there is like a loss on that part as well. For Avril, I do believe these ones are probably one of the better too. So yeah, that is what I had to say about this feature. Honestly, it's better than I thought. Still provides too much stats for the amount of core power. That is not gonna change, but essentially that kind of, you know, goes to them trying to figure out a whole different way of having a specific value for an account that would indicate the account strength better now than the core power because of these new features. But feature is better than likely most of us thought, and honestly it's actually pretty decent. But yeah, do let me know in the comments down below what you guys also think, and whether or not you also got plenty of 5 stars. Thanks for watching, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, do hit that subscribe button, it would help me out a lot. As well as if you would wish to support me more than just watching my videos, I have made a Patreon page where you would be able to do just that. In return, I would be able to help you out more individually in terms of events, PvP formations, and stuff like that. As well as I would like to thank all of my patrons for the support. I really appreciate it for your subscriptions. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe out there.